It seems, with how expansive the Star Wars fandom is, that everyone has a favorite character. Luke Skywalker, Boba Fett, the thing that's in that ground that eats Boba Fett. But it came to my attention that all these favorites are hot. No one likes Jar Jar Binks, he's annoying and ugly. No one likes Watto, he's annoying and blue. Did you know that in episode 6, Admiral Akbar was almost not in the movie because the people making it thought he was too ugly? Imagine how angry the fish community would have been if he wasn't in there. They would have just been haywire. But what am I getting at here? The point is, I saw episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, in theaters. And even though it's not perfect, it is shit. But there was one part of the movie that made me realize it was all worth it. And that was the introduction to Claude. And I'm going to talk about how Claude is the best Star Wars character ever created. Not that snarky robot in fucking Rogue One. Not Baby Yoda, who isn't even a baby Yoda. It's just everyone decided on the name, but it doesn't make sense because Yoda's fucking dead. How would he be a baby? Let's rewind back to when they were having the episode 9 panel when they were about to release the teaser. Stephen Colbert is hosting as he needs to keep himself away from politics as much as he can. J.J. Abrams brings out the whole cast so they can talk about many things.
Where's the nearest barge?
You guys like the scarf?
No more semi-naked Kylos.
All things important to the Star Wars franchise. But before we got to see the teaser, JJ wanted to talk about a new creature.
Are there any other creatures that you can show us?
There's a fun character who just appears, whose name is Claude with a K, K-L-A-U-D, and he is a friend of the Resistance and someone who actually, it turns out, Chewie brought into the... There's Greg Rumberg.
Wexley.
And there he is on the big screen as the audience in this big room is trying to recollect themselves as to what they're looking at. And to think they only clapped for the second image because they saw the Wexley fucker on the left. It seems since day one of his reveal that nobody is going to appreciate Claude's existence except for JJ right there. And me, of course. They all just thought, what a disgusting fucking turd that this is gonna be in our Star Wars movie. We had porgs, damn it. Now you're giving us this, damn it. In the first scene in Rise of Skywalker, where we see the glorious Claude in, he's on the Millennium Falcon. Why is he on the Millennium Falcon? Because they explain that he is friends with Chewbacca. Duh. Did you not get that from the movie, idiot? The real reason why he's there is because he had to fix something broken on the ship. Because he is, after all, an engineer. Now I know what you're thinking. He doesn't have hands. Oh, okay. I guess Claude can't do anything then, because he has no hands. Let me explain something to you. Disney has been trying to make Star Wars more friendlier than ever to everyone. Claude represents the community of people who don't have hands. This sad community believes they can't do anything because they don't have hands, or arms in fact, but mostly not hands. But Claude is showing them that even though he doesn't even have hands or arms, that he is able to engineer his way to fix a part of the Millennium Falcon. At least that's what I think happened, I kind of forgot. But he does do something, and he does it even if he didn't have hands or arm. And then after this, they get to into high-end speed chase where Poe dangerously keeps switching in and out of hyperspeed, which could easily hit one of the buildings. And then at this moment, we hear the yell of Claude. Now, I couldn't find the movie because it just came out, but it goes something like, ah! Yeah, that was the Claude yell. Can we talk about his design for a minute? I mean, we can because this is my video, but I'm just going to pretend like you have the free will to stop me. Let's start with the face. Now, that is the face that a mother would shove back up her womb and abort back out. The whiskers on his head are really what makes him stand out. Every whisker on his head represents a different war that he was a part of. He regrows them out because that's part of his character. That's why he doesn't have hands or arms, because he lost them during the war. His eyes are ginormous. And that's another good part of his trait. The movies are always about action and things you have to look at with your eyes, and anyone would kill to have the eyes of this beast. And that mouth? Let's move on. This movie isn't afraid to tell you that Claude is fucking fat. But Claude doesn't have to care about what people think about him, because Claude is a fucking slick bastard. He could be fat all he wants, and he can barely move all he wants. And he knows that he's still the coolest. But then let's move down to the feet, which is the more figurative part of Claude. The 4 claws representing his feet represent the 4 pillars that has been making this big bastard of a movie franchise into shit. Kennedy, Ryan, JJ, and we'll just put the rest of Disney on that one. Now, it's interesting that Claude would appear in the first scene of the movie as if he is an important character to the cast, but he doesn't appear again until an hour and a half until his next scene. Now, you might be asking, of course Claude's not gonna be in the whole movie, he's just a side character, why do you care so much? I live in a basement. Well, let me just say this. While the teaser was being premiered, there was a leaked poster, and that leaked poster showed us that the subtitle was not going to be Black Diamond, and even though they said that it was a fake, it seemed interesting that every character on the poster appears in the movie, including Claude. Now, this poster contains a lot of important characters, like the Knights of Ren, who are very important to the plot, Robot Head, who's very important to the plot, and the other girl, who's also just as very important to the plot. And then there's Claude. Now, why would Claude be with these people who are very important to the plot? Now, this might be a conspiracy, but I believe that Claude was going to be in many more scenes, doing many more things, and being just as an important character to everyone as C-3PO with the gun. However, because of the reaction that they saw during the panel, they decided to get rid of those scenes with Claude, basically screwing him over at his chance of becoming a true movie star. Come on, Kennedy. Now, in this next scene I'm going to bring up, Poe and Finn are making battle plans with the rest of their team of the Resistance. And who's there in the background right next to Chewie? Fucking Claude. Now, it's important to bring up that because of what happened in Episode 8, when Leia tried to call for others during the Battle of Crate, nobody showed up. And in this movie, they bring it up about how no one came for them and how sad it was. But you know who was there for them in their time of need to help them out, to defeat the evil people and work with the good people? Fucking Claude. All I'm saying is, if Claude had hands and arms to pick up on the radio, he would have flied right there to Crate and saved everyone. Done deal. And then after the Resistance finally defeats the evil, spoilers for people who thought the evil was going to win, Claude gets a final scene where one of the others gives him a hug. Aww. Why did Claude get a hug if we're supposed to assume that he didn't do anything? Well, I have another theory that he did do something. As a matter of fact, he was one of the X-Wing pilots, flying around and shooting out TIE fighters and doing his duty well. That would have been great for the community of people with no hands to see. But because of the reaction at the panel, Disney decided to scrap those scenes as well. You heathens. How could you do this to poor Claude? My character got blackfished. This makes me sad and unkempt. If there's any criticism I've heard more about the new Star Wars trilogy, is that most of the characters are inconsistent and don't really make sense. Well, let me just say that Claude is the most consistent. As we see in the first scene, when he's engineering, he gets it fixed off screen. I forgot to mention that part. He does his job right, he doesn't act out of character, and that's what makes him good in character. Now, I know what you're gonna say. By this logic, that means the titty monster from Episode 8 that gives Luke Skywalker his milk is a consistent character because he gave him the milk and that was his job. I hate people. Yeah. Let me just say that the titty monster was supposed to produce blue milk, but because of an error, he accidentally produced green milk, so Disney fucked up and then decided that there's now blue milk and green milk. That titty monster fucked it up for everyone. Claude, on the other hand, doesn't fuck up any Star Wars logic. He exists as he does, and there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing in the older Star Wars trilogy that Claude fucks up, and that's what makes him solid. When you watch Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker, whatever you take from it, rather things that don't make sense, or things that might make sense, or things that you want to make sense but probably don't. At least take from it that we got Claude. We got a character that never got to show his true potential because of scumbags like Disney who try to hide him in their own movie and poster. A character who's shown his potential in the beginning scene of his true engineering abilities, despite not having arms or hands. A character that is just fascinated by the naked eye that makes you wonder why they made this character. There's even a shot of Claude where everyone's looking at him, and Oscar Isaac is like, Jesus Christ, JJ, what did you just birth out? Or at least that's what the haters would be thinking, because what he's really thinking is, what a beautiful angel, JJ. I hope he is loved by all. Let's turn him into a toy. Yes! So for the people who are open to my discussion of how Claude is the best character of the Disney trilogy, perhaps even the whole saga, I welcome you, and I hope that you understand where I'm coming from. And for the people that think I'm stupid and all that, I just want to say is that Star Wars is a movie about space wizards intended for children, so why are you taking it seriously? Fuck you. Bye.